Hi, thank you all for joining and thank you all for your patience. We'll just start with a quick round of introductions. I think if you guys introduce yourselves, you could probably do better justice to it than me. So we can start with Iman and then we'll move forward.
Hi, I'm Iman Jamal, and I'm co-founder at Creditbook and head of design there. At Creditbook, we basically provide underbanked people with access, businesses with access to financial services, and we've been running the company since 2020.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Muhammad Aqeel. Currently, I am in Bank Al Habib, heading digital products portfolio. I've been in banks, commercial banks primarily, in service and payments functions. That's about it.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Umair. I head the user experience and design at 10 Pearls. Previously, I was running my own design studio. It was later acquired in 2020 by 10 Pearls. Didn't know a service company can get an acquisition. So 10 Pearls is a technology company providing services on product innovation, AI, ML, machine learning, and we also work on design thinking from the state side and also from the Pakistan. So, yeah.
All right, thank you. So our first question for the panelists, and I understand that you've worn multiple hats, like you had a recent acquisition. Aqeel has worked at many different banks, and I believe you're new to Bank Al Habib as well, so congratulations on that. And they're also a platinum sponsor, so thank you for that as well. And Iman, you've been at Creditbook for some time, but you've had a lot of experience in different organizations. And we had the pleasure of Iman working with us at Designers too at one point. So I'm just going to ask you these questions, and you can talk from the context of your organizations or from your past experiences as well. So how do you feel that design is currently integrated into your organizations, and how does it help the overall business strategy? And anyone, if you can take a jab at it as you please.
I'm happy to start. I think it's a startup. I'm assuming it'll be different to sort of the corporate world. Things are very fast moving. Design has been front and center stage pretty much from the day we started. User research was actually led us to solving our problem. We were out in the field doing research with shopkeepers off a project we worked together on at Designist. And it was the observation of those behaviors and the way shopkeepers were sort of living their daily lives, their interactions with cash, with paper, with the role of credit that led us to our early insights around sort of what Creditbook's first product was, which is a digital ledger. Since then, there's been an evolution. We've shifted context. I'd say there've been quite a few lessons as well. We've at times, and this could be a bias because I'm more of a qualitative thinker at times, we've over-indexed for qualitative research versus quantitative. I think something that's sort of always been present though has been design has always had a seat at the table, and it's become more and more holistic in the way we sort of think about things. We started out with user research being sort of front and center stage. Product design came in, and at times product design has also played the role of like product management. I don't think they need to be distinct because it just causes silos. And we've had service design come in at times as well. So there's sort of like a neat little triangle that's formed. Today, I'd say because the macro environment has shifted, we've cut out quite a bit of like the bullshit that sort of comes up over time and have had to make sort of prioritization decisions.
So 10 Pearls, it's more towards a technology company. Like they have a lot of dev side. It's difficult to actually integrate design, but like after the acquisition, all the design work was getting done from the state side, and they throw a project to us like, this is dev, you just need to work on the wires and UI, that's it. But timely, we hired designer, they understood the value of design, like we could do user research, we could do UI design. We started doing LPAs within Pakistan. So LPA is 10 Pearls patented thing, lean product accelerator. It's like a discovery. You empathize, you define, you ideate, prototype. So we started doing discoveries, 4 weeks discovery, 6 weeks discovery, to actually understand the design need. And then once that discovery is done, it's your fully functional prototype. It contains your feature set. The business analyst is involved. The backend architect is involved. It's not just the design. So we integrated all the divisions, like the designer, the business analyst, architect, solution architect. You also have project manager. So all of these people involved created the entire design prototype, and then that is delivered to our client. So yeah, this is how we conduct like any design exercise for our clients.
Okay, yeah. So I'll answer to this a little differently. What we have seen, and I personally seen in different banks, we are very good at processes and structured approaches to solving our problems. But what we generally miss is the creativity. So यहाँ पे आके मुझे ये पता चला कि यार हम शायद लग रहा था solutions को banks में बहुत अच्छे तरीके से अब creativity उसको embed कर रहे हैं. So यहाँ आके मुझे पता चला कि यार अभी कुछ भी नहीं पता. So बहुत सारी चीज़ें अभी करना है. So yes, design thinking does give us that freedom to embed creativity to a certain level. But listening to people here, जिस तरह अभी service design की बात की, और so हमारे पास और भी challenges हैं. The radical changes that we are forced to do, either these are mandates from State Bank, from the regulator, or any other जो आपने भी mention किया कि बस करो, तो वो so we need to also look at the design perspective in those radical changes that we are forced to do. वो हम lack करते हैं अभी. There is no harm in confessing right now. So yes, एक किसी हद तक वो involve है पूरा scenario जो अभी दोनों ने mention भी किया. But yes, we need to learn a lot from these guys.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. Umair, I have a specific question for you. So you mentioned how you really went from like an output-driven design team to now the organization thinking about it more strategically. Can you walk me through how that large organization had that shift?
To be very honest, in Pakistan, it's very difficult. Like there's this whole structure. Design समझाने के लिए इतना time लग जाता है. So yeah, I think जब आपको value पता चलती है ना, this is like actually giving me the value. So I'll give you an example. We got this project from the state side. The client came up with a set of features. I just need 50 features, get it developed. Let's start designing. The design team started designing, and within like a week or two, we realized, no, this is not like 50 features. He might need 300 features. And we started discovering things up. Like he asked for a human thing, but actually इसको पूरा cyborg चाहिए था. Like ये gadget भी लगा दो, ये भी बना दो and all. So the eventually like the 50 screen wireframe became a 400 fully functional prototype for him. And then like the decision maker, they actually realized we really need to conduct discoveries. ऐसे तो हम develop कर देंगे, at the end वो solution client को चाहिए नहीं, and he'll come again and again. So I think you actually discover with the client, target their needs, understand the entire scenario, and then probably start doing the tech thing for us. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing. So when we talked about, and you guys mentioned this slightly earlier as well, when you talk about close collaboration and reducing silos, how have you felt like what helps foster that kind of culture within the organization, and how do you believe that these silos can slowly be removed? So I'd love to hear about the kind of collaboration that happens between stakeholders within your organizations?
We have project delivery managers, we have project managers, we have business analysts, we have designers, we have architects, we have I think there's a whole hierarchy here when it comes to working on a project. So a 30% team is allocated on a project, or a 50% team is allocated on a project, right? So then what we could do is like a BA could play a role of a UX researcher, because it's not just like their role doing the analysis. They can actually go deep dive into the dev side of it and understanding the requirement. So I think if we are allocating any team to a project, so I think the whole communication needs to be done. Like we use Microsoft Teams. There's like a lot of tools that we use to actually do the collaboration between each of the departments. And then the collaboration, it needs to be like synergized between all the stakeholders.
Yeah. So I can talk about other banks that I experienced, but let's keep it to Bank Al Habib for this question. You have been part of the journey अभी जो हमने एक साल में किया है. So what we are still discovering what is the best process that we need to follow. Primarily we are trying to embed agile and design thinking processes into our roadmap that we are trying to pursue in solving the problems that we have at hand right now. और उसमें भी हम ये कोई एक by the book नहीं चलना चाह रहे. So we are still experimenting with different techniques और वो because आपको ground realities उस particular organization की देखनी होती है. We have a digital banking vertical separately working parallel to a technology setup जो पहले से मौजूद था. So I think we need to be very careful in implementing the best possible ways of solving our problems.
So for us, it's been a bit of a journey. We've experimented with a few different approaches. We started out with a pretty small company, under 30 people, before our first round of funding. And I think it was a lot of fun to sort of see the kind of collaboration that could happen at that point. You'd get 6 people in a room and honestly magic would happen because everybody had such deep contextual understanding of the problem that was at hand at that point. As we grew, and we grew quite fast after our first round of funding to about 120 people, we started implementing sort of frameworks and processes, the kind of stuff you hear in like business books, KPIs, OKRs, all that kind of stuff. There were points at which collaboration happened, and you saw some really interesting insights. For example, if we had sort of larger teams at that point, so up to 10 to 12 people, and there was a lot more stagnancy. We went through another round of sort of change when the macroeconomic environment shifted, and there was a focus on sort of costs, profitability, and it was a learning experience for us as well. And we shifted to smaller teams again. We simplified our business processes. We moved towards this concept called NCT, so narrative, commitments, and tasks. And every quarter we sort of reset. And we all sit down at the table and strategize, and that's where you know what your goals are. And we moved to something that sits like a squad-based system. So you'll have 4 to 6 people on a team working literally on not more than 3 sort of areas of responsibility. And that, I think that's where I've seen, again, that sort of magic of collaboration increase again, where you have data sitting there, you have a designer, you have an engineer. You've reduced the layer of project management that sort of sometimes becomes excessive, product management, product ownership. There are all these different sort of roles that have come about in the West that we've taken, copy-pasted, and applied to like the Pakistani startup system. And through that simplification, we've actually seen a lot more collaboration happen again, because every day there are 6 people on a call obsessing over a problem, bringing in their respective sort of domains, and being able to problem solve together and learn from each other. And that's sort of where we're at right now.
Awesome, thanks for sharing. So just within organizations, naturally, when we talk about design, there's certain challenges that come up. So I would just love to hear from you all on what are some challenges that you guys face when it comes down to the design process or getting design implemented.
Yeah, आपने बड़ा अच्छा अपनी presentation में बताया था, the big D and the smaller one. So banks में हम यही करते हैं, ठीक है, ये कहते हैं यार ये design है, ये करा लो, किसी से करा लो. This is changing. You different banks में different approaches हैं. Design, लेकिन अभी शायद कोई चीज़ बेचने के लिए जब हम बनाते हैं कोई नई चीज़, तो शायद हम उसको बहुत केयरफुली कर रहे हैं अभी डिज़ाइन को. बट व्हेन इट कम्स टू दी आफ्टर सेल एंड सपोर्ट, तो वो शायद अभी हम वो अप्रोचेस नहीं ले रहे. जो मैंने यहाँ पे सुनी, और ख़ास तौर पे एक प्रेजेंटेशन थी रिलेटेड टू द एक्सपीरियंस डिज़ाइन which was related to retail. That area still is, never heard of it. See, so you were part of a project with different banks. HBL का भी आपने share किया. There are compliances also. So yes, we as banks, as I mentioned, we need to learn a lot. ठीक है, चीज़ें हम बड़ी अच्छी बेचनी हमें आ गई हैं, डिज़ाइन को एम्बेड करना अभी हमें आ गया है उन चीज़ों में जिसमें जो हमें लगता है कि यार हमें शायद कंपटीशन को देखते हुए या रेगुलेशंस को देखते हुए वो हम बड़ा अच्छा कर रहे हैं, बट नॉट व्हेन इट कम्स टू द आफ्टर सेल एंड कस्टमर सपोर्ट एट एंड ऑफ द डे, विच मैटर्स अ लॉट. वो शायद अगर हम कर लें तो वो वी कैन गो प्लेसेस.
I'd sort of keep this simple and talk about 2 things that have come up multiple times from the perspective of designers. One is, as everybody talks about sort of user experience and the value there, and I'm not undermining that in any way. But sometimes I think designers will over-index user experience. And if you're putting it in the problem of business constraints and strategic objectives, you can't go into the field, do 10 interviews, come up with sort of high-level insights and expect that you can take that forward and pass it to engineers and expect them to empathize and understand, hey, this is what people need, and sort of take it at face value. We have run through processes. Are you distracted, Hasan?
Yeah. No. Hasan, quiet down. Sorry, I have ADD.
So we implemented this sort of way of handling that, which is, it's a concept that's sort of been tried and tested in multiple areas of literature. And it's called the 5 whys method, which is like, don't just listen to what a user says. Ask them why again, ask them why again, until you get to sort of that insight around why they're giving you this response. The other thing is sort of sitting on the other end of the spectrum, which is over-indexing for data. So you see big patterns, and we've been able to work with big sets of data because of the growth that the product had in the beginning of its sort of lifespan. And there have been times where we've gone and completely and sort of decided that, hey, the data is suggesting that the retention on this particular feature is like this. Let's go in and build it like this and sort of take these actions on, let's say, like a button or CTA. And at that point, again, you're moving into another silo. So I think it's really important to sort of make sure that these different areas are negotiating with each other, and there's somebody facilitating the process and helping make the decisions that comes from a place of maturity. And when I say maturity, I mean somebody who's sort of able to keep a macro view on what the business objectives are and whether the decisions that designers are making are compliant and will actually meet those objectives and goals when it comes to business.
I'll just keep it short. Like at Tenpulse, it's the most of the sales come from the state side. So we have a team here in Pakistan which actually execute the design and dev side. So for us to actually do the business side of design, it's pretty difficult because it's about the cost actually, the cost of sale, and then because it's a huge company in terms of hierarchy. So like selling design as front, it's a bit difficult for us.
All right, thank you. All right, so when it comes to your individual industries, I guess, Umair, you're in software, Aqeel in banking, and Iman in the startup space. So where do you see the future of design is within each one of your industries? Where do you see it heading?
For me, like last year it was metaverse. हर कोई ना gadgets पहन रहा था, or like there was a huge boom, right? And then November, December से it was AI, like ChatGPT. Anyone, किसी ने Vision 4.0 use किया है? GPT Vision? Yes, you. Like मुझे एक डिज़ाइन स्प्रिंट का प्रपोजल भेजना था. What I did is like मैंने 4 दिन लगाए, proper detailed proposal बनाया. It got rejected, but yeah, I did that like 4 days effort. Then I used GPT-4 Vision. We have our own products, like हमने AI की products बनाना शुरू किए within at Tenpulse. So within 5 minutes, I uploaded a document. उसने पूरी imagery के साथ content read किया. Everything I said to that product, okay, I need a proposal. उसने exact detail जो मैंने proposal बनाया था, इतने hours लगेंगे, इतनी चीज़ें होंगी with a very good content brief create कर दिया. So I think future is AI. There's a lot of tools out there. अगर यहाँ students बैठे हुए हैं, थोड़ा सा spoil करूँ. There's like Copilot from Microsoft. It's free now. It has DALL-E integrated. You can even use camera to actually capture anything. It will give you exact description what's happening. You can upload document and extract things out. So I think AI it's gonna, we will have a lot of tools within AI. Also, so you guys have heard of like Figma, FigJam, AI. There's like Visibly, you just like drop a screenshot, it will convert it, create a UI out of it. So design tools आएंगे, AI tools आएंगे, and you need to be like be a prompt engineer. आपको HTML भी आनी चाहिए, आपको design भी आना चाहिए, आपको AI की prompt engineering भी आनी चाहिए. So that's how I think for the future.
Yep. So we, while we as commercial banks thrive to, create solutions for Gen Z, and generally अभी तक जो studies हैं वो loyalty को इतना ज़्यादा relate नहीं करते with Gen Z. So I think design इस loyalty को इस concept को शायद negate करने के लिए बहुत bright है उसका future. Why am I saying this? Because I disagree to this fact, to this theory that Gen Z cannot be loyal customers. Because these concepts, जिन concepts पे base करके वो product आप Gen Z के लिए बना रहे हैं, इन्हीं concept की basis पे you can design services as well. और वो loyalty programs जो हम पुराने ज़मानों में देखते हैं, we need to redo them for this generation. So future is bright. It's going to go a long way.
I'll speak from the perspective of sort of B2B startup, like you said. I'm slightly skeptical of, while I totally agree that AI, Figma, all the tools out there will definitely facilitate efficiency and thinking and output. I think to be sort of an industrially relevant and good designer in the world, and I say world because I think it goes beyond B2B. Like designers are sort of, you're not going to be just a B2B designer. If you're going to have a career in design, it's going to sort of hit multiple sort of points in terms of industry and domain. I think it's really important to have the ability to think critically. And I think it's really important to sort of engage with why you're using certain tools. Of course, having the hard skill of being able to design and use tools to your benefit and efficiency is really important, as well as to collaborate with engineers, QA, product, all that. But I think fundamentally it's sort of going to boil down to critical thinking, just because we live in a time when there's so much information out there, and information is not reducing by any sort of fold. So being able to sort of cancel out noise, prioritize, think critically, engage with problems in a way that's actually generating value, I think is going to be more important than ever when I think about where design is headed largely.
All right, perfect. AI, Gen Z, maybe AI will take over, maybe it won't, but we need to keep designing for our users. So thank you all so much for your valuable insights. We really, really appreciate you being here. And I think this AI discussion will really nicely set the foundation for the next talk to come. So thank you.